Coming up, we've put together our Eco Garden systems, and now it's time to fill it and get it planted. Sponsored by... Stop before you dig. Call Digger's Hotline first. Call 3 business days before you dig. It's the law. It's completely free and it's for your safety. Know what's below before you dig. It's your responsibility. Call Digger's Hotline or visit them at diggershotline.com. So this is the Eco Garden Systems from ecogardensystems.com. It's a all-inclusive, everything you need raised bed. There is additional options in which you can get. This is the larger of the model. There's drawer models with a basin, and this has got the irrigation system in it. You also can get a solar panel that sits here that actually runs the irrigation system. Otherwise, you just direct feed a hose into the bottom here, and you can water it at whatever increments you want. When it rains, if the reservoir gets too full, it will overflow naturally, so you don't have to worry about that at all. So we want to fill this. This will take, we want to put peat moss down first, and then we fill it with with compost is what we're using, and that'll work just fine. So first thing we want to do is we want to open up our peat moss to get that filled, and then we will fill it to how full we believe it needs to be filled, and then we'll top it off with some compost. All right, now that we've got the peat moss evenly distributed in the bottom, now it's time to add our compost here, and we're just going to take it and bring it up to about the brim here, about the edge is where we're going to start with, because we don't want it to be too high because it'll rush out when it rains or we water. So that's what we'll start with and see where we get to. All right, so we got it filled with the certified leaf compost. We got the peat moss in there. We've got it leveled full to the lip here, and that's where I want it, because I want some distance between the irrigation system and the soil. I just don't want it to be brim full here. So we can pack a lot in this little area because of a couple of reasons. We've got good nutrient-rich soil, as well as we'll have water to this on a regular basis. So in combination, where you normally only could plant so many items in the regular ground, here we can pack them in a little tighter because of the advantages of those two things there. So first we're going to plant leeks, then we'll come over here and we'll do a couple of eggplants, some celery, we'll drop some peppers in, a couple of tomatoes. Now one thing that with your Eco Garden systems you want to be aware of, this thing sits about 3 foot high already, 3.5 foot, somewhere in that range. So if you put something like a Jerusalem artichoke or a yacon or sunflowers even for that matter, they can get very, very high and the wind can catch them and rip them out just like uprooting like a tree would. So you want to be aware of that when you're planting items in here that may have a height, a very large height to them. So I'm going to get these planted. We'll see where we're at and see what else we can cram in to our Eco Garden systems. Okay, so I've got it all planted here, and we've intensely planted this Eco Garden system. Again, it's about 4 foot by 8 foot, typical sheet of plywood if you're familiar with that type of dimensions. So what we've got here, I've got 3 tomatoes in the front, 2 cherries and 1 beefsteak. Now, because the depth is only so much here, the cages don't actually go in that well, but the advantages of why I planted them on the side was so they could cascade over. They'll vine over and you can pick them that way. I've got 2 eggplants, and between the tomatoes I've got shallot bulbs. I've got leeks and onions on this end here, and then planted them tight, but they'll grow really well together. 2 kale plants here, 2 potatoes that I've planted, and then 4 pepper plants and 2 celery plants. So this is a very intensely planted garden here, but I can do that because of the water that's readily available when we hook up the irrigation system, as well as the good and rich soil in which we have. So we'll continue the progress over the summer as the Eco Garden system grows. And with this type of, the way we've got it here, all of these plants can be harvested throughout the summer. It's not like we're waiting on a head of cabbage to develop and harvest and remove. Everything here, the tomatoes, the peppers, the eggplants, the celery, the kale, can continually be harvested until frost or it gets too cold. And then we can rip it out, and based on the time frame, we could actually put some cool weather crops or start cool weather crops like lettuce and spinach and bring them out and plant them in the Eco Garden system.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.